Hey folks, Dr. Gerstmar from Aspire Natural Health. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you happen to be watching or listening to this, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, I'm having a fantastic day. We've decided to get away a little bit. Now, those of you who aren't American are often boggled by how little we get away. Those of you who are Americans, you recognize getting away is challenging in our society the way it is. Nonetheless, we decided to take a little bit of a camping vacation, hence you can see the foliage behind me. Now, one of the things I noticed as we pulled into the campground was that the reception on my cell phone went to a big fat 0. Yes, no signal, which means no internet, no text messages, no emails, no updates, no anything that a cell phone normally brings to you. And I did that intentionally as a way to unplug and disconnect from our always on society. Listen, there are a ton of great things about having an always on society, about having so much available at your fingertips, knowledge, and basically almost anything that we need, we can reach out with these little magic computers that we have in our pockets, and we can have access to it, which is a gift that we should not set aside. Having said that, it is important to also turn off from time to time. You know, we make a lot of jokes about how we're almost like, surgically connected to our cell phones, and it's a bit silly, but those of us who've been alive for a little while remember the times when we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have computers easily available to us, and yet somehow we managed to survive just fine. Now, the negative side of the always on is that we're always on. We're always getting this stimulation that's going on into our brains and how it's affecting our bodies as well, which is why periodically I recommend that we take a chance to disconnect. Now, for some of us, I get this is easier than for others. Between work, between family life, some of us really do need to stay more connected than others. But I truly believe, with rare exception, that almost all of us can find a chance to disconnect and unplug. Now, for some of us, it might be a few hours. Others, it might be a day, others a week, and for a few people, even more than that. Well, one of my goals this week is to disconnect from the phone and from the internet. You know, when I first did this about 4 years ago, I actually freaked out for a couple days, between my practice, working with clients and patients, and needing to see emails and having employees and wanting to check in and connect, and sort of, again, that always on mentality that I had not been disconnected from for a long time. It actually took me a couple of days. I had a little bit of low-grade anxiety behind not being able to stay connected, not being able to see what was going on and be able to reach out. And some of the things that I did all the time, like listen to podcasts or watch shows or videos, I couldn't do. So in the beginning, it was actually a little anxiety producing for me. What I found was, though, after a couple of days, a sense of peace and calm settled. It wasn't so much the, oh, did I get another email? Oh, what's this? Oh, what's that? Oh, I'm bored for 5 seconds. Let me go ahead and grab my phone or grab a computer and check in and get something to fill up my brain space with again. Instead, it was settling down to a calmer place. Recognizing that there is room in our lives to be a little bit bored or a little bit disconnected. Most of us, we don't always need to know what is going on in our lives. And you know what? We're going to be okay. What we find for most people is that the internet, while it's a great thing on the one hand, can definitely be a source of anxiety and overwhelm on the other. Now, we don't want to throw out the internet, but at the same time, we want to recognize that we need to take time away. We need to let ourselves decompress. We need to let the level of stimulation that's going on between all these electronic devices, we need to let that settle for a little bit. Now, I'm a huge fan of the outdoors, about getting outside and surrounding ourselves with more nature. Now, for those of us that can, it's coming out like this to a campground, getting some time away from places. For others of us, that may not be an option. So something like getting out in a yard, if we have one, or getting out to a park or a green space of some kind, all of these things can be tremendously beneficial for us. So, recommendation here is to periodically unplug. Now, what does that look like? For some people, that's going to be time daily or weekly. There is something called a secular Sabbath that I've heard before that some people practice, where that's a chance to shut down a lot of outward distractions, including electronic devices. Say no, spend more time in quiet space and more time with family. So borrowing some of the traditions from different religions that have real value here for us. Even if you don't happen to be religious, we can still take some of those ideas and make use of them. So for some people, a weekly break from electronics. In fact, one fun thing that can, again, be a little anxiety producing in the beginning is to consider leaving your phone when you go out somewhere. Now, obviously, if you need your phone for a reason, but if you don't, if it's just habit to pick it up and put it in your pocket, and you find that whenever you have a free second, you're waiting in line or something's going on, you're instantly grabbing your phone and looking at things, I challenge you, at least once in a while, leave your phone at home. Check out what else is going on. If you've been alive a little while like I have, remember back to the time when we used to sit in line and we didn't immediately have a phone to pull out. Like, how did we manage? Right? So it can be a good lesson for all of us to leave our phone, our electronic devices aside. Again, for some of us, it's once a week. For some of us, it's once a month. For some of us, it's rarely, but occasionally, making sure that we do so. All right, folks, that is it for me today. Again, let's make sure that we use our electronics. We're not letting them use us in a way that is harming our mental state and our physical state. All right, folks, that is it for me today. Listen, if you haven't picked up my book, yes, a book, happy to send you a soft cover, physical paper book. All you need to do is go to aspirenaturalhealth.com/book. That's aspirenaturalhealth.com/book. And you can get my bestseller, The Clear Path to Health there. It is the result of over a decade of working with people, study and experience and learning, taking the principles of health and the principles of disease and condensing them, making them into a simple, easy to read format so that it can clear the confusion and help to show you the clear path to health. Again, all you need to do to get it is go to aspirenaturalhealth.com/book. All right, folks, that is it for me today. I'm going to go enjoy some nature, take time away from electronics. Until next time, take care.